Good morning, it's Cassie from Fade In Fade Out LLC in Dalton, Wisconsin, and it is time for a morning tarot reading straight from the shop. I'm going to get started here today with the Spirit Animal Oracle cards, and we're going to see what comes out for those. And then I am going to move into the Wildwood Tarot to go through the tarot spread, and I will read through that. And then I'm practicing for a upcoming event tomorrow, so I will not be adding any additional cards to the reading today. Let me get a read on these spirit animals that popped out and see which one or ones was meant for me this morning. All right, field mouse. That's perfect for today. So it says success on here. Believe in yourself and dare to dream big. Absolutely. That's relevant anytime, but it's relevant for me today. All right. Once again, only messages for the highest good are welcome in this time and space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So for tomorrow's event in Montello, I'm going to be using the Wildwood Tarot, which you see here today, and then I'm also using the Spirit Animal deck. And I am very excited to try this out. I'm a little nervous, but I'm mostly very excited because it's something new and different for me. It's definitely pushing me out of my comfort zone. The field mouse is really relevant because I've been having, the nervousness and all of that. So we're going to see what comes through for the tarot cards today and see what happens. And just a reminder, I do read for myself, if you didn't catch that vibe already. So I only read for myself for these readings. It's self-led. And I actually take these and I watch these later, to pick up on the messages that come through, because I don't always remember everything that I say. And I find it very useful and helpful for me. It's like a little counseling session. But when I find it relevant, I share these messages too, because we can always learn and grow from each other. So thank you for being here. We're going to see what comes through today. Oh, this one's funny. Oh, no. Pretty sure I saw her yesterday. Wow. All right. We start out the spread, of course, right underneath the field mouse with the 7 of arrows or 7 of swords. It says right on the bottom of the card here, insecurity. So this woman is in distress. She's feeling attacked and overwhelmed by external energies coming at her. I can relate to this card on so many levels. I think many of us can. We've been in these places where we feel like we can't trust ourselves or we can't trust other people, and we don't know how to move forward from that. But the truth of this card is that we are the ones keeping ourselves stuck. Most of these fears, anxieties, and worries that come at us like this are self-imposed. And we can choose at any moment to step out of this energy into something new and different. And so she's in distress. She's feeling attacked and overwhelmed and anxious, fearful, worried, insecure, and questioning her ability to do something. And she's keeping herself stuck. She's keeping herself away from her power, and she's holding herself back. So the message with this card is that we are never powerless. We are always able to tap into our power to step forward into the light. And even though it may feel scary, it's necessary, and it's a part of our growth and our journey to be able to face our fears and to to it's part of our journey to experience this feeling of fear, anxiety, and worry, because it always is a teacher for us. We can always learn something from that energy that we feel. So this woman in this card, this is me. This represents me. I am never powerless. We are never powerless. We can always step into our power and choose a different reality if we so desire it. And it just requires, a little bit of strength and fortitude. That word just came to me. I'm going to have to look that up. I feel it does sound relevant. I'm going to have to look up the meaning of it though later and make sure it fits. All right, we've got the next row here. We've got the Knight of Bows and the Queen of Stones. So the Knight of Bows correlates to the Knight of Wands in the traditional tarot deck. This is a fox here. He's sly and cunning and kind of a fast-moving, sneaky type of animal, right? So when we think about the Knight of Bows or Knight of Wands as a person in our life or as ourselves, this represents somebody who's very quick-moving, but sometimes a little shy in coming out about it, a little not fully upfront with that energy about what they're doing, but kind of doing it in the background, behind the scenes kind of thing. This can represent like a sneaky energy, sometimes in like a icky way, but that's not coming through here. The fox is just a you don't see the fox very often. He's not something like a squirrel where he's always out in the open. He's a little bit more quiet about what he's doing, and he's also sometimes a creature of the night. So representing those dark elements of us, and when we're growing and changing and transforming, sometimes that's kind of a quiet change that's happening within us, and the people around us may not always be well aware of that. So I feel that this energy is also somewhat a part of me. I mean, all of these things that come through in tarot are all a part of us and a part of our journeys at any given time in life. All the cards represent different stages and in our lives, personas that we can embody at any different time, and energies and situations that we approach. So the Knight of Bows coming through here, I think, is showing, with this fear and insecurity and worry coming through, needing to step into the power. It may feel a little like you need to be a little careful about it as you approach this, but you want to do something about it. You want to come out into the light, instead of hiding around in the dark all the time. You want to come out into the light. You want yourself to be seen. But the fox is an animal that doesn't always necessarily want to be seen. And right next to that is the bear coming out of hibernation. This is the Queen of Stones or the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is a feminine energy that finds safety, security, and stability for herself pretty easily. She works very hard to create that for herself and to maintain it as well. So the bear works very, very hard through the summer, spring, summer, and fall months to find enough resources to be able to rest during the winter. She's very smart and resourceful that way. And the Queen of Pentacles is a feminine energy that's able to, like in waking life, as if we think of somebody in our lives or ourselves, this is somebody who's able to gather all the time, energy, and resources that they need to be able to support themselves, in a material sense. So they have enough money, they have a secure job, they have a stable home life, they're able to provide for others as well. Um, and this bear is also a very headstrong type of individual. There's not much that will shake her from her stability. And when things do shake her up, she tends to react in a very upfront kind of way. If you were to confront a bear in the wild, it might be kind of a scary situation, because it's a threat. And when bears feel threatened, they are very, very strong and headstrong type of animals. But anyways, this bear is coming out of hibernation right now, and I feel that, the Knight of Bows is kind of coming out into the light. The Queen of Pentacles is coming, or the bear is coming out into the light. This fear and anxiety and worry that we keep ourselves trapped in the dark, and it's time to step into the light and to face the world head on, instead of keeping yourself locked away. All right. Next row has the Four of Arrows, the Wanderer, and the World Tree. So the Four of Arrows, or the Four of Swords, represents a period, of rest and transformation. So as you can see in this card, there's a body down here that's being pinned down by 4 arrows. And then there is a butterfly at the top. It doesn't say on here, but this represents transformation. It says on here, rest. So when we are going through changes like this, where we've maybe been feeling so attacked for so long, and we've been exhausting ourselves, and now it's time to step out into the light. It's time to put that continuous sense of needing to hide, putting that to rest, and again, coming out into the light. So this represents the transformation of the soul here, the shedding of old skins. This person is laying on the ground, representing a death of sorts. And what's coming from this old self is a new self, a beautiful, beautiful butterfly representing transformation and change. The butterfly goes through several stages in its life, and it doesn't fear those stages. It embraces those stages. It might be scary and it may feel uncomfortable to change from a caterpillar to a butterfly. If something in our lives is causing us to have to grow and transform, it may feel very uncomfortable. It may feel like, we've been hiding for so long and we're afraid to come out into the light and be seen. But really, that's what's happening here. And this transformation does require a certain type of rest in terms of putting the mind to rest. And also physical rest may be required here, some extra TLC to the body as we go through changes and transformations in our life, and do different things and start different jobs, moving, whatever it is that's changing in life. It requires some extra care and TLC with the body, with the mind, the soul, the spirit. And so this is a kind of a multifaceted card. It represents putting to rest the old ideas, the old self, the old way of going about things, where we felt attacked and insecure and afraid to come out into the light, putting that to rest, but also taking care of ourselves as we transform and move into a new life. And then that new life here is right in the center of the spread, right in the heart of the spread is the Wanderer or the Fool. So the Wanderer here is a lighthearted, curious type of individual. When we embrace this energy in our lives, we approach things. I mean, she's barefooted. She doesn't have anything with her, and she's about to step into this very precarious situation. There's clouds here. It's almost like a cliff. In fact, the traditional tarot does show, a cliff. and it represents that need to just jump in, to just do it. Don't question it. You already have, the resources within you to do this, and you don't need to question yourself at this time. So when you're traveling on a new journey, when you've gone through this transformation and you're approaching something new and you're trying something new, approach it with a light heart and with a sense of faith that it is a part of your journey and that you are meant to do this, because if it feels right in your heart, there's absolutely nothing that should shake you or that should keep you from taking that step off the cliff and jumping right into it. The next card here is the World Tree. I think it's really interesting that this is the final card of the Major Arcana, and this is the first card of the Major Arcana. So it's like you're simultaneously coming to the end of a journey and the beginning of a journey. So that's how it works. When one door closes, another door opens. And it's especially relevant here that these two cards popped out and they're right next to each other, representing the beginning of a new journey and the completion of a different journey or a cycle. So the World Tree here shows all the cycles, all the seasons of a deciduous tree. You can see the death of the winter, the dying of the fall. There's the beautiful full life of summer, and then there's coming to life in the spring. This is a continuous cycle. We can see this very easily here in Wisconsin, and it's starting to happen right now where the leaves are starting to fall. And how cool is it that this transformation is happening at the same time that the earth is changing its seasons and shedding its skin or shedding its leaves. And so are we. Fall represents a time of letting go of that which no longer serves us, of reaping the harvest and preparing for winter, preparing for this cold season through which we can regenerate ourselves, we can rest and recover and get ready for the following spring. There's so much symbolism in fall that can relate to how we can take care of ourselves. If we look to nature, we can see how we are connected to it and how our natural cycles in life can sometimes mimic the cycles of nature, because we also go through times and phases in our lives where we have to drop our leaves, where we have to go to rest, go dormant for a little while, and then we can come to life again, and then we can be full and abundant and full of beautiful, vibrant fruit, and then we can reap the harvest, and it's a continuous cycle. And the other thing that's relevant about this card is the labyrinth. So this kind of represents the going in and out and spiraling around of the life path. And sometimes we'll encounter things that are familiar, even if we're stepping into a completely new territory and we've shed old skins and we're coming out into the light and we're leaving behind those old thought patterns. We may revisit some similar situations again as we go through the cycle again, because those are meant as lessons for us to learn and grow from. And when we approach similar situations that may seem like they're revisiting us, we have the tools that we need to approach those differently now because we've already done it before. And so the continuous life path, the cycle of life, it's always happening. And even though you're embarking on this new journey and shedding these old skins and coming out into the light, you have already done this before as well. And you have all the tools you need to be able to go through this season again and to learn and grow again, and then to be able to shed skin again. So this transformation is equally letting go of old self, old thought patterns, shedding old skins, coming out into the light, but also starting fresh and starting new with a new perspective and being able to traverse things in a different way. The next row here has the Great Bear, the Four of Bows, the Seven of Vessels, and the Three of Bows. So the Great Bear is actually the card that comes before the World Tree, and the Great Bear represents judgment in the traditional tarot. So if you look at this card, this Great Bear is sitting on top of this tunnel, and sometimes we have to step into this tunnel to face our reckoning, so to say. So if you think about the Christian teachings, there's Redemption Day, there's that time in life, and this happens throughout life continuously, this recycling, this rebirthing. There is a time where we come to a period in our lives, a day of reckoning, and it happens, many times throughout life, that we are faced with the choices that we've made, and we have to come to terms with that. Whether those choices were good for us or not good for us, or not good for others or good for others, whatever our choices have been up to this point, there is a day of reckoning here. And this doesn't have to be a negative experience. This is simply an acknowledgement. And so when the judgment call comes, there is a coming to light, a lighting up of an awareness, and coming to an awareness of the choices that have been made that have brought you to this point in your life where you're needing to transform and change things and start fresh. And you can take what you've learned and you can grow again and traverse things in a different way. So the Great Bear here is not, he's very ferocious and scary looking. And then there's this dark tunnel here. But when you step into this zone here, where you step into this place where you're just stuck with yourself and your thoughts, and you're coming to this awareness of how things have brought you to this place where you have to maybe reevaluate the way you've been going about things. It's a necessary part of life. It's a necessary part of the cycle of life. And there is always a coming out into the light again. So even if this has been I feel for myself, this day of reckoning has kind of been a little bit of a continuous process over a period of time that I've been going through. I've had several realizations over a period of time, several days of reckoning where I'm like, oh, that's why that worked out that way, or this is what I did. This is how I could have handled this differently. And like having that self-awareness to really be able to evaluate ourselves and the choices we've made for ourselves and how we affect other people by doing that. And really, I think taking a look at this and taking a look at this insecurity card and these fears and anxieties and worries, and having this realization that we have been holding ourselves back from being able to move forward. And that's what the Great Bear is here to help assist you to move out of that and to step into a fresh cycle. All right, the next card is the Four of Bows, Celebration. So there's a culmination of energies here that is bringing forth this large fire, this celebration, this coming together of energies to build something new. So let me just see here. There is the Four of Arrows too, and the four does represent this change agent. So the Four of Bows, or the Four of Wands, represents this coming together of energies, and maybe different energies in your life, to create this huge change and transformation. And fire also represents change and transformation, death and rebirth and recycling of life. So this card represents this huge fiery change. And sometimes fire is needed to cleanse the soul, so to say. So burning away of the old to welcome in the new. And this could represent, back in I don't know, the ancient human civilizations, they would use fires, and even, Native American civilizations and other civilizations around the world still do this, where they come around a fire and they do things like releasing things. It's part of their ritual. It's a part of their spiritual practice and what they believe in. And it's a very powerful change agent, even if you're not actively burning yourself, right? Because that would not be good. But you are using the fire to activate the change within you. And so this coming together of energy to fully embrace this change and to allow the fire to cleanse you, to allow this change to fully take hold, it's a really great and joyous experience, and you can feel fresh and light again instead of weighed down and heavy and dark and unable to move. And then here's some of this energy here. We've got the Seven of Vessels or Seven of Cups, and it says mourning on here. There's this skull here in the background, and there's like this acknowledgement and awareness of all the things that have passed before. So all the things that have come, that have led to this point where we need to let go of these things that no longer serve us. The Seven of Cups in the traditional tarot represents some distraction. We also have 2 sevens. We have 2 4s and we have 2 sevens. That's interesting. I just noticed that. Anyways, so the Seven of Cups in the traditional tarot, it shows like 7 different cups with like 7 strange things coming out of the cups. And then there's like this shadow figure looking at all these cups, trying to figure out where he can find his fulfillment. Which cup does he need to choose? Now, this card shows a totally different thing because all of the vessels here are empty. And the message here is that there is nothing to be found here. There is a need to move forward from all that has passed, all that is no longer serving you, because it is dead. So these old parts of yourself where you feel insecure and unable to come out into the light, where you need to shed your old skins, you need to have this reckoning with yourself, and you need to allow yourself to be cleansed and renewed and rejuvenated. It requires a letting go of some emotional processing techniques or emotional investments that no longer serve you, that are dead, because these cups are empty. And in the case of the traditional tarot, all of those cups are really just serving as distractions. And he's taking away from his self. He's a shadow figure in the traditional tarot, and he's taking away from his self by putting his focus into these cups instead of just finding fulfillment in his self. So this death is a part of the transformation. There's a dying of the self. There's a dying of this emotional processing technique, or a dying of emotional investments that no longer serve you. This shedding of old skin, this dropping of the leaves. It can feel a little sad, to leave things behind. If it's, leaving people behind, or leaving a job behind, or moving, or whatever it is, these recycling parts of our lives where we need to let go of things in order to be able to step into a new life. It's a continuous cycle, and sometimes it is very sad, and it feels very heavy, and it's hard, and it requires care. It requires time, and it requires care, but it's also a very necessary part of change. And then the final card here is the Three of Bows, and it says on here, fulfillment. Now, this seer here is standing between these 2 bows, and she's holding a bow. And there's something to be said here about the arrow of focus. So the bows represent the action, the change agent, but then the arrow represents the focus. Now she's standing in the middle here, and she's welcoming you to come in between these bows, to find your focus, to follow your path, and to meet her in the middle. And it's very symbolic that she has on her gown here these snakes wrapping around each other. They represent also the life and death cycle. So there's the white colored snake that represents the purity of life, the spirit, the soul. And then there's the red snake that represents the primal life force, blood, and possibly death or fire, that transformation agent. And so she or he is representing that entity that you can embrace in yourself, where you find that focus and you follow the path. You follow the path forward, and you don't question what you're leaving behind. It may feel hard, it may feel scary, but you know that this is the right path for you. This shedding of old skins, this coming out into the light, the day of reckoning, the leaving things behind to allow yourself to be cleansed and become new. you stay focused and you follow this path, and it can lead you to really, really great places where you can shoot your arrow now in a new direction. All right, we're going to read the field mouse and see what he has to say. The mouse is a small but powerful proof that you don't have to be the biggest or loudest personality to be heard. He has super sharp senses and is quick on his feet, adapting easily to any new environment. The mouse shows you that you can make the most of what you have. No matter how hard the circumstances seem, how many odds are stacked against you, you will have the power to thrive, and when you triumph, you will feel such a sense of fulfillment and pride. No matter how small you feel, we all have a place in this world and can survive and grow together. You can achieve huge things when you believe in yourself. Don't listen to what anyone else may say. Stay strong and listen to your heart. And that is today's reading. I hope you guys found use in that. I sure did. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.